Selamat pagi. Ucapannya selamat pagi. Good morning. Good.
Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first Indonesian Research Day, organized by the Indonesian Student Association of South Australia and supported by Liquidity Indonesia. This event is a one-day event celebrating research which focuses on Indonesia and also research conducted by Indonesian scholars. So this is the right place for you. This event today aims at providing opportunities for researchers, particularly Indonesian scholars, to develop their research capacity by sharing research and networking. And this year, the first Indonesian Research Day proudly presents 8 Indonesian scholars who will share and network with you all. And to open this event today, please welcome Dr. Risti Permani from Liquidity Indonesia and the University of Adelaide.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Selamat pagi. My name is Risti Permani. I'm a coordinator of GoLife Indonesia project and a research fellow at Global Food Studies here at the University of Adelaide. Welcome to our very first Indonesian Research Day. So the idea of organizing this research day was coming from the Indonesian Student Association under the leadership of Dia Satria, and GoLife Indonesia with the support from the University of Adelaide, especially Professor Christopher Finlay, has responded to this initiative because we believe that this event is going to set a significant milestone to the development of Indonesian research community, particularly here in South Australia and generally in Australia. So this is the third conference that GoLife Indonesia has supported. So we had our first conference in Canberra, partnering with the Indonesian Synergy, which is based at the ANU, Australian National University, and University of Canberra. And we also had an early career researcher conference at Bogor Agricultural University in March earlier this year. So GoLife Indonesia, inshallah, will continue to support the Indonesian Student Association in any activities that will further develop the capacities of Indonesian young researchers. When GoLife Indonesia initially launched in 2011, it was initiated by former Trade Minister Dr. Mari Pangestu, David Parsons from Kadin, and Professor Christopher Finlay. So GoLife was initially set to promote economic integration, discussion on economic integration issues in Indonesia. But then we realized that as we move along, we realize that economic integration issues are a multidisciplinary concept. So our expertise and understanding in issues in science, politics, education, humanities are needed to be able for us to develop our development agenda and therefore contribute to the policy dialogue in Indonesia. So, but we do know that to further our activities, we need to work together with partners, especially here in Adelaide. So we're very grateful to the opportunity that PPIA has given for working together to make this Indonesia Research Day happen. So I would like to thank the financial support provided by the Australia-Indonesia Institute at the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. With the Institute's funding, we have been able to organize some workshops, including the research methodology workshops which have always been well attended by Indonesian students here in Adelaide. I also would like to thank all presenters for your time and huge support. And looking at your impressive profiles, I'm sure that the audience will not only enjoy today's presentations, but also can take lessons from your ideas to contribute to policy dialogue in Indonesia. And I believe this will not be the only Indonesia Research Day that we can organize, because with your support, inshallah, this event will be annual events. And this is not only going to be attended by Indonesian researchers, but also celebrated by us. And last but not least, please join me to congratulate Dia Satria and his team on their excellent, highly efficient, and hard work putting all this together. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Dr. Now it's time for the first sessions, and we'll start now. There will be 4 presenters. There'll be Asma Sembiring, Yesi Baranangin, Sharifah Amalia, and Ruth Widyastudi. That each of them will bring very interesting issues, and yes, let's just enjoy it. Oh, forget to tell you one thing. This session will be chaired by Asni Wilujeng Suryani.
Okay, thank you for still tuning up with us. So we will begin our first panel session shortly. So first I will let you know the rule of the session. So each presenter will be given 15 minutes to present their ideas and their research. Then it is a parallel session, so the question and answer will be given at the end of the 4th presenter. So there will be 15 minutes for question and answer, and if you have any question, please mention your name and the question that you want to address to. And our first presenter is Asma, and Asma will present about vegetable wholesale market. Asma,
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity. Today I'm gonna present, my topic is comparison of structural market performance of wholesale market, actually fruits and vegetable wholesale market in 2 countries, in Taiwan and in Indonesia. I'm candidate master of global food and agricultural business in Adelaide, and this is my outline. First, I'm gonna tell you about my background research, objective, and my methodology. Second is I'm gonna show you the market description in 3 wholesale market, 2 in Taiwan, cashew and silo agricultural market, and Caringin in West Java, Indonesia. And then go to discussion and analysis. I'm gonna analyze my information based on market structure, conduct, and performance. And also we'll assess the effectiveness of the market based on structure, conduct, and performance. This is Indonesia map. Yeah, I know you know that. And this is West Java, where Caringin market is located. And this is Taiwan map. This is the background. Yeah, why I choose this topic, because actually agricultural share to total Indonesia GDP is still quite high. It's the second biggest to our total GDP. And then wholesale market actually offer better profit to the our farmers. For example, if you watch in TV that chili price in our market is like 1,100 per kg. Actually, farmer accept like 60 or 50 thousands per kilo. So there are a lot of different profit margin between that market. However, for our small farmers, it's quite difficult to enter the wholesale market. This is part of the reason is long channels, so they need to pass a lot of intermediaries, traders, to enter the wholesale market. And also, if you need to enter wholesale market, you need connection, and then you need to know information about market access, such as price, quality, quantity, and then also high cost, because you need to transport your product to the market. And then, but in Taiwan, farmers are allowed to participate in this market. Why? Because the policy, government policy, supported for this farmer to enter the wholesale market. Next, this is I told you before, analysis data use SGP. The structure we're gonna review based on number of sellers, buyers, product differentiation, and barrier entries. Conduct based on pricing and access to market information, and then performance, profit margin. I'm gonna analyze based on profit margin in terms of revenue and cost, and then the effectiveness of market access by SGP. This is market description in Taiwan and Indonesia. It's just gonna tell you that in Taiwan, the market was established is more than 40 years ago. You can see in this year. And in Indonesia, it's around like 15 or 20 years ago. And then for the authority, most of wholesale market in Taiwan is under a municipal government authority. And they have actually market corporation, and the market corporation has a board. And the board is consists of farmer representative and a government representative. And in Indonesia, in Caringin, it's private. And this is value of transaction. This is in NT, so dollar Taiwan. So it's about in dollar, US dollar, it's like around, okay, you just multiply with 300 IDR and then divided with 9. Okay. In terms of market structure, this number of supplier, vendors or buyers in Asia, it's around 1,900, and in Silo 500 in Indonesia. This is per day, around 4,000. All right, okay. Just back to the previous slide. Kaohsiung and Silo, they only sell fruit and vegetable market, but in Indonesia it's mixed fruit, vegetable, meats, and others products. Oh, sorry. So this is the market structure. The trading system in Kaohsiung, they have negotiation and auction. But in Silo and Caringin, they have only negotiation between seller and buyers. And entry barriers are related. Forgot that. In terms of entry barriers, actually in Taiwan, in most of Taiwan wholesale market, they have less entry barriers, because if you want to selling your product in the market, or you can first you apply to the market corporation, and if there is a space area for you, then they will give you. You just need to pay like 3.30 or 3.60. If you have like transaction, you sell your fruit and vegetables, and you need to pay like 3.9 of total of your transaction. It goes to the market corporation. Besides that, if you want to sell your product at Kaohsiung and Silo, you need to have like a volume of transaction 100 kilo per day, or if you cannot fulfill this requirement, you need to exit from this market. So, but there is no other market cost. But in Indonesia, entry barriers first is there are a lot of entry barriers in Indonesia and Caringin. First, you need to have a big capital, because if you want to enter the market, then you need to have, if you buy the area in the Caringin, you need to have like 100 to 200 millions rupiah, or it's around like 11,000 to 22,000 dollars to buy the space in Caringin. Or if you want to rent, you need to pay like 3,000 per year. There is a data in 2010. And another barrier is you need to have a relationship or a close connection in Caringin market. You have to have a connection with among the traders and also with the growers, because you need to keep your supply, the continuity of your supply. And next, this is a supplier for Taiwan around the Kaohsiung, but also from the Taipei, and similar with the buyers. But in Indonesia, the supplier come from around West Java, like Bandung, Garut. Central Java is Java. But for the buyers, it could be from outer island like Sumatra and Kalimantan Island. In terms of product differentiation, I just put it in terms of quality. They have higher to a lower quality. Usually higher quality goes to supermarket and restaurant, but in 3 markets. But specifically in Indonesia, they also sell the higher quality to export market. And this is pricing. In terms of pricing, in Taiwan wholesale market, usually every day the farmer representative and the market corporation manager, they're gonna discuss the estimated prices for the following day. And this is based on the prior prices, so the day before, and then the quality and quantity estimated about the demand, and also cost production. And then they're gonna put, okay, this is the estimated price, and they call it as floor prices. And they also put maximum prices in the market. And every day they're gonna post all of the wholesale market in Taiwan, corporate manager, corporate market in Taiwan gonna send this data to the Taiwan database, and they post in the website. Okay, and all right. So negotiation gonna conduct based on this price. But in Caringin price depend on negotiation and the relationship and the contract, especially there are quite often traders infer weakness of the growers. So access on information market in Taiwan could be from website, fax, phone, calling, market corporation. But in Indonesia, they rely on traders and other farmers. And this is the picture, Kaohsiung market, Caringin market. This is the board information. They put like prices, quantity, and then quality. And there's a market performance. So buying and selling pattern based on supply and demand. Farmer can select which market gonna provide better price and prices, and then buyer can select which gonna buy the cheapest market, but in Indonesia. It's hard to enter the market because no clear information, so that there are less opportunity to gain better profit, especially for the farmers. And this is the cost I told you before. And this is the conclusion. It's actually in Kaohsiung market, traders free to select buyer, and then the less entry barriers, and in Caringin less flexibility to select buyers. And this is part of the reason trust, loyalty, system payment. and then capital connection. And this analysis comes to conclusion based on structure, conduct performance, question and zero, the market are more with efficient but effective market than challenging market. And to create an efficient market, government need to support and consider farmers' interest in this case. And our recommendation for this study, because this is rapid assessment, so it's need the further research to grab the whole picture and then more deeper study and research to know more detail and more clearly about this research as a whole. Thank you very much.
Okay, our next presenter is Mr. Yesi, and Mr. Yesi will discuss about foreign traders and the impact on emerging country stock market.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Right. Not loud. I'll try to speak as loud as I can. I'll just hold it. Yeah.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah, that's
Right.
right.
Okay. So my name is Yesi. Just here. It's a joint work with my supervisors, and we just tried to get it out of publication bit. Well, the title is The Impact of Foreign Trades on the Domestic Stock Market and Transaction Level Analysis. I kind of violate. Yes, that sounds good. The battery's running out. Right, so from produce markets now bring it to stock markets and see how we go with that. I kind of violated like most of my rules in presentation anyway. I throw away so many slides. But then the plan for today is I try to spend most of my time in explaining what I'm doing, and then I would just move from there. All right. So start the introduction, and we'll discuss a bit of related research and how my study actually extend the knowledge. That's the requirement anyway for the research, and then discuss the data, findings, results, probably talk about further research if I have time, and perhaps discuss about the conclusions. Right, so the main question that our research tried to answer is having foreign investors a good thing or bad thing? So in terms of capital market, having foreign investors to invest in a market would help to increase the liquidity, increase the number of participants in the stock market. So before I even go further, can I ask a quick question? Of you guys here, how many of you actually hold stocks in the IDX? See, that's the thing. So a recent survey by Bapepam, so this is the market regulator in IDX, shows only 2% of Indonesian population actually invest in the IDX. So having foreign investors would help the capital market to work more efficiently. But then, of that many benefits that having foreign investors around, having foreign investors means that our market will be more vulnerable to foreign volatility, foreign markets volatility. Going back to the literature, so far what we found is in the literature, researchers been using aggregated data. So the data have been aggregated from transactions into daily value, into weekly and monthly value. So pretty much we would say that the findings in the current literature is pretty much suggestive anyway. So this is where our paper comes. We try to examine the impact of having foreign investors at transaction level. So at every transaction, Asma actually gave a very good description of how price is settled in the market. So people put the supply and demand, and there comes the price point. So having this transaction level data, we would be able to discuss who demands and supplies liquidity. We'll go back to liquidity a bit later on. So, and then in terms of price discovery, as well as in terms of information types. So our research can reveal the mechanisms through which foreign investors actually affect a market. In our case, would be the Indonesian Stock Exchange. So what do I mean by transaction level? So if we invest in the stock exchange, then we have to conduct our trades through brokers, and then the brokers will put our orders in the trading system. So bids mean if you want to buy, and ask mean if you want to sell. So in Indonesian Stock Exchange, it is an electronic market, so your broker will put your order to the trading system. So a selling price will be ranked from the lowest to the highest. Yeah, from the lowest to the highest. And bid price will go from the high to the low. So every time the highest bid and lowest ask meet, then you have transaction. All right. So what do I mean by liquidity? So liquidity means the ability to buy and sell securities at any quantity with tiny movements in prices. So that means you can buy or sell any quantity at ease. So you can go in and get out the market easily. People have been talking about liquidity, but the concept is a bit hard to digest, especially even for finance discipline. So what do I mean by price discovery? So price discovery is how fast information is impounded into stock prices. So in this case, how fast bids and ask prices move to reflect information, and then therefore it creates price series. So I hope that helps. So this is, if you engage in online trading, this is pretty much the screenshot that you will be looking at. All right. So foreign trade's impact on liquidity. Liquidity is an important factor for foreign investors. If you think about it, if you go to foreign countries, you want to invest in that countries, you want to make sure that you can get out anytime you want, right? So that's a valid thing. And then the second thing, second research is about systematic movement of liquidity, which I call, which been coined in the literature as commodality and liquidity. So not only the liquidity itself, but systematic movements of liquidity matters for foreign investors. This more recent research coming from Ray and Wang, they actually did the research in the Indonesian Stock Exchange. So they found that as foreign investors' presence increases, liquidity improves as well. However, they have other findings that suggest that as foreign investors trade, they actually take away liquidity. So when foreign investors trade in the Indonesian Stock Exchange, liquidity disappears. And they said, oh, probably because information asymmetry, because then domestic investors might think that foreign investors know more, and therefore they're a bit reluctant to trade, or they charge more, all right? So that's probably the reason why liquidity disappeared. Or else there's an increased inventory risk, right? Because I don't know, like if I hold a stock, I don't even know if anyone wants to buy my stock, then I can't realize my profit. So that's the increased inventory risk. And having foreign investors around actually decreases competition among market makers, because foreign investors, they tend to trade less frequently, but then when they trade in big quantity. So that actually takes away liquidity. And then foreign investors might implement buy and hold. So if you buy and then you hold on into the asset, and then when you need something that you sell, that's a buy-hold strategy. So if you buy the asset and then hold it, and therefore you don't create liquidity. And then lastly, this is quite a significant thing that so far the literature can only relate commodality and liquidity and institutional investors. However, they can't really distinguish between domestic and foreign investors, and that's how our paper actually come in. All right, so into a more specific discussion of how foreign investors actually affect domestic capital market, it is actually a good thing. So having foreign investors around, they actually can decrease cost of capital. So that means a corporation can raise financing at a cheaper cost. And because of the lower discount rate, then equity value in emerging market actually increased by 27% after market liberalization. So when foreign investors come in, they reduce the cost of capital and therefore stock price increases. So all good. However, these numbers, 27% and 5 to 75 basis points, actually a bit lower than what is expected by theory. And some researchers say, oh, that's probably because of barriers, okay? So there are two types of barriers. The first one is explicit barriers, regulation and rules, limitations on foreign presence, or implicit barriers, in this case would be information asymmetry. And another leg of research discussed who actually more informed. Is it domestic or foreign? Well, domestic obviously know the language and they know the rumors and they know what actually moves the market. So if you think about it, as a foreign investor, it's not only that you are exposed to information asymmetry, you also have to think about how can you exit or enter the market quicker at a reasonable price. So given that we have this rich transaction data, we can answer most of these questions. All right, so the data comes from the Indonesian Stock Exchange. It is a member of G20, we have fourth largest population, and then we have excellent performance during crisis. It is dominated by institutional investors, so if you invest in mutual funds, if you invest in pension fund, I mean, these investors are more sophisticated than individual investors. So in this case, we're capturing institutional domestic versus institutional foreign. So we have a level playing ground here. And then there's no limit of foreign ownership, and trade directions are observable, which means that we can see whether it is domestic or foreign investors who initiate the trade. Because then initiated trades mean that they're consuming liquidity. If you post limit orders, then you're supplying liquidity. Yeah, quite extensive data set. We have 67 million orders and we have 21 million trades. I want to discuss some of this stuff, but then it's just saying that we don't actually include the penny stock or stock which values is at 500 rupiah because of the small tick sizes. And then the sample is actually more liquid than the market, but then just leave out the details. From this table, I can say that foreign investors are more aggressive. They tend to initiate trades more than domestic investors. So for all orders, buy and sell, like 48% is basically the initiating orders coming from domestic, while foreign investors, like 55%, they initiate the trade. And then in terms of time, when they put orders, if it's not executing, then it actually takes, 63 minutes for domestic investors to get executed. Well, it only takes 40 minutes for foreign investors. So we can say from this slide that foreign investors in general are more aggressive. And then, just for the sake of being there, doing regressions, and then, so who actually moved the systematic liquidity? So for this slide, it suggests that actually domestic investors that do not have any impact on relatively similar impact of the foreign investors, except for the market-sidedness. So when foreign investors trade on both sides, then they create systematic movements in liquidity. At least the stocks are more prone to systematic movements in terms of their liquidity. Right, so price discovery is just a measure of how actually information being impounded into price series. So we created two price series, one price series coming from domestic price and the other series coming from foreign prices. And we do it every 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 and 30 seconds, as well as 1 and 5 minutes. This is like a crazy thing to do with computer. And then we apply this error correction model. For those who take econometrics, there you go. So two price series, and then anyway, so that's the information leadership shares. The takeaway message is just apparently, so domestic shares of information leadership is actually the dashed line. And foreign contribution to price discovery is actually the dotted line. So this is measured at 5-minute interval, right? So actually, domestic investors have more role in terms of impounding information into prices. So having that in mind, I only have 5 minutes left, so I better just wrap up. Having said that domestic actually have more roles in terms of price discovery, we then ask the question, does that mean that domestic investors are actually more informed, right? So how can we answer that? So we would answer that using the synchronicity methodology. So we did this market model regression. So if if domestic investors or foreign investors are more sensitive, their price movements are more sensitive to systematic or idiosyncratic information. And in this case, the R-square for domestic is way lower than the R-square for foreign. That means that the systematic components of domestic price series is less, significantly less than the systematic components of foreign prices. So what does that mean? So that means that foreign investors, when they trade, they're actually more focused on systematic information. Whereas domestic investors, because of their local knowledge, they know what's happening in the firm, and therefore their information, they rely on this idiosyncratic information which reflect the firm's specific information. So in this case, we can't really settle down who's actually more informed. But we know that domestics are more informed about the firm's specific risk, while foreign investors are more informed on the systematic level. And that actually brings us to the conclusions. So it seems that foreign investors use the global economy indicators to construct the strategic asset allocation. Well, what that means? That means that whenever they come into an emerging market, they will invest in terms of portfolio. And that explains our information type findings that it seems that they're doing top to bottom allocation. So they choose Indonesia and then they want to get exposure of the Indonesian systematic risk. Whereas while they're doing that, they also want to trade quickly. They want to get in quick, they want to get out quick. So they consume liquidity while domestic investors actually supplies liquidity. And then these foreign trades actually enhance all the imbalances and then commonality and liquidity. So they actually increase a bit of liquidity risk in the market when they get in, when they get out. So that's what we've been getting in the press in Indonesia, like Jakarta Post, or if you read the newspapers. Foreign is in, foreign is going out. So that's probably what explains the index movements. And then, so domestic traders are more informed at the local level, and they're able to accommodate foreign trades and demand immediacy. And our highlight is this last point. There exists this mutually beneficial relationship between domestic and foreign that actually leads to GFC. Thank you so much for your attention.
Then our next presenter is Sharifah Amalia, and Lia will present about the economic policy makers.
Good morning, everyone. So first introduction. So I think it's essential. My name is Leah, and I'm doing Master of Applied Economics in Uni Adelaide. And I'm just like 3 months away toward the degree completion, so really excited. And now I'm going to present a topic which is really close to my heart. It's about traffic congestion in Indonesia. I think everyone also experienced the same thing like me. This is actually a project submitted to one of my courses last semester. So I acknowledge some of the helps from my lecturer, Iran Binambom, and my friends. All right, so the main question that I'd like to address is about should developing countries like Indonesia implement congestion charges to solve traffic congestion? And we'll see first this video. This is quite a cool video about the congestion pricing. I hope the link is working. All right.
America has 4 million miles of road space that's mostly free to use as long as you're moving. But if you stop, you have to pay a parking meter because you're taking up a spot another driver could use. That's why, in an average city, you only feed meters in the daytime when everyone wants to park. At night, parking is free, partly because when you're reaching for change, a vampire can bite you and suck all your blood out, turning you into a vampire. But it's mainly because nighttime is when people park their cars at home. The problem is, when you drive away, you're still using up the space, but you don't pay for it. So here, in the market for road space, price is always zero, whether demand is high or low. That matters because the externality of the trip is high or low depending on the traffic flow. This graph shows traffic flow by time of day, where these are the rush hours. Now imagine that price is tied to traffic flow. So when traffic flow shoots up at rush hour, price rises too. And when traffic flow falls, price falls. That system is called congestion pricing. To see it work, we'll overlay price here. Raising and lowering the price pumps traffic up and down. So if we raise the price at rush hour and lower it at other times, then we'll smooth out traffic flow.
That's pretty cool, right? Why should we care about this thing? Because most of the people I know from my discipline thinks the road is a public good, but actually it's not. It's an impure public good. I mean, in terms of the sum of characteristics of the public goods versus non-excludable, it's obviously non-excludable because everyone can use the road, but it's practically diminishable. I mean, rivalry, yes. So if one person uses the road, it will pose some kind of externalities to other person who uses a road as well. So in the end, there will be traffic congestion in terms of the road. So it is called the tragedy of the urban roads, according to the literature. And what concerns me is that one of the factors that contribute to the traffic congestion is actually the economies of agglomeration with rise of megacities. As we know, in developing countries, the population are mostly concentrated in big cities, urban areas. Like for example, in Jakarta alone, there's 26 million people nowadays, like almost same with Australia's total population just in one province. So it's a really highly dense city. And with the rise of megacities, there's a tendency as well that the vehicle will grow as well. And in fact, according to the references, it grows more rapidly and then the available road space. So it can be expected that there will be massive negative externalities occur in the road. Therefore, the average trip will increase, and we can see that the impact is the congestion. Another thing to notice is actually the congestion itself not only affect our welfare. For example, the direct effects such as the time costs, increased costs in running the vehicles, fuel and maintenance costs, and even noise, but also the indirect effects such as bottlenecks in production and distribution process, which can inhibit growth as well. And people well-being because we feel so stressed in the street, and atmospheric pollution because the CO2 emission of our cars is quite high. So there's one paradigm about sustainable transport policies. This pyramid is adopted from Gerling and Lewis, and it's that based on the preference, each layer represents the preference of the policy in terms of sustainability, meaning that the one that in bottom of the pyramid is are less sustainable than the top of the pyramid. But in order to achieve the top of the pyramid, for example, the spatial planning, we have to have strong baseline in the bottom first, such as infrastructure, constructing, infrastructure upgrading, model shift, and etc. The problem in developing countries is there are already a lot of congestion, but the baseline of the pyramid is not that strong. I mean, we still have problem in lacking infrastructure, of course, roads, and etc. Therefore, this raises the question what should we do as developing countries, as policymakers in developing countries? Can we focus on something more sustainable? Because everyone said that you should produce more sustainable policy in terms of environmental awareness, in terms of social equity, in terms of economic efficiency and all that. But so that's the problems in developing countries. And most of transport policy, particularly in Asia, are focused on the infrastructure construction and upgrade. So we think less of other policies, and therefore some of the experts in transportation said that maybe developing countries can adopt the traffic demand management, or TDM, that focuses on the two highlighted layers, which are pricing and mobility management. So that's the basic theory. And one of the message is because you impose externality if you use road, and then you have to pay for that externality, and then you have to internalize the cost. So based on this graphical illustration, we can see that the application of congestion charge will increase the private costs into higher marginal social costs and equate with marginal private benefit. So in the end, we have like lesser traffic density with higher price of road. So that's basically the idea. And as we see also in video, that there's like this shape. This is the relationship between the time of day and the road supply and demand. In peak hour, we tend to see that roads are overutilized, therefore it has congested. And for the non-peak hours, road is actually underutilized. So basically with this congestion charge, we can like smoothen this graph and becoming more flattened out, more flat. So it, in terms of economic efficiency of using the road, it will be cause better outcome. But some said like, why don't just widen the road or make more arterial and roads? It doesn't helpful in this way to tackle the congestion, because by increasing the fixed supply of road, meaning that the horizontal line increases as well, but still the relationship between the peak hour and non-peak hour and the road is still the same. Even there's a tendency that when there is more road and more widened road, there will be more vehicle in it. So I think these charges are important because it can affect people behavior, because we obviously we will think about like, because we have to pay for it, we will change our behavior. So maybe we can change to other transport system, and then we can change the behavior. And it's proven to be a cost-effective policy because based on the Singapore, London, and Stockholm experience, it succeeded to reduce the congestion for 13,000, 30,000, and 25,000 in Singapore, London, and Stockholm, respectively. So the Jakarta context, it's really populated in terms of urban population. It's 26.7 million, and we have like really the per 100 square land is only like 25 kilometers of road, and vehicle population is quite high, 60 vehicle per 1,000 people. And average traffic speed is only like 8.3. It's lower compared to Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and Bangkok. So I can skip this one, all right. Okay, the basic setup of the congestion chart in Jakarta is it will replace the 3-in-1 scheme. So the area, the cordon area is the Gold Triangle areas, the Gatot Subroto Road, Sudirman Road, and Tamrin Road. So based on literature that I read, it's important first to examine the behavior aspect, to determine like the willingness to pay of the people, how much they're willing to pay for the congestion charge, because definitely they have like different behaviors. For example, for who for someone who value time more, they will be more sensitive to congestion, therefore they're willing to pay more charge. And based on the literature, we can see that mostly 2 minutes. 74% say that it's better to have the congestion charge under $2. And in terms of political acceptability, it will be better to design the discount exemptions for emergency vehicles, disabled person, and for residents charging zone, and maybe low-income groups. Okay. One important thing about this thing is the BOT institution, because I think the one obstacle that really important is to set the institution, the framework of the charging scheme. And nowadays there are already regulation in Ministry of Transportation and Ministry of Finance, and it also involves the Jakarta provincial government in terms of the legal framework. So the high flow subsidy is quite dilemmatic, because on one hand it will increase the use of vehicle cars, and I think it will be better to have a gradual removal of the subsidy if we want to tackle the congestion. So we have this is interesting, because Indonesia there are a lot of motorcycles rider. So if there is a congestion charge, it will be expected that there will be more motorcycles in the road. I think that quite makes sense. So some of the literature said that it's also good to include the motorcycle to be charged as well in this congestion charge. Okay, so the conclusion of my research is, one, a congestion charge is a cost-effective policy, but we have to allow some flexibilities in the mechanism. Okay, thank you very much.
And our next presenter is Ruth, and Ruth will not present but will give us an interesting workshop on reading. Interesting? Keep it first. Can I just...
Yes, okay.
I'm trying to be as slow as possible,
Just
so
take it
I'll
out.
get more time. What should I do?
You just take it out.
Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Ooh, my husband will kill me if I do that. This is not Mac, isn't it? Alright, while waiting for this, okay. So, say again?
No, I'm an English teacher, so I can guarantee that you'll be able to hear me. I used to shout in my classes. But before we do this one, my name is Ruth. I'm Master of Applied Economics. Sitting next to them, bizarre to me. All right, before we do this, I would like to put you into smaller groups. So bear with me, guys, because we're doing a little bit of running around. So I'll just do it this way. I'm going to ask you to call out a number from 1 until, say, 5. All right? So after 5, we're going to have to start it from 1 again. So can you say 1?
1,
2, 3,
4,
5.
My team. My team.
2, 5, 2, 3, 4.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 4, 5. Right, okay. No matter when I teach, every time we come to numbers, people always get confused. Okay, 1, will you sit next to Diaz here, 2, over here? Can we do it quickly because I've got only half an hour?
No.
45 minutes.
2 here, 3 over there, and 4 over there. Go to the back, and 5, go to the back.
So we 3 over here, right?
Alright, 1 over here, 2 over here on my left hand, 3. Bapak, what's your name?
Me?
Yes,
Sukender.
Sukenda, next to Bapak Sukenda. 4, what's your name?
What?
Pak Adi. Adi. Adi number 4. And 5. I think together with Andi guys. Are you 5? Oh, whatever, you can sit there. Don't worry. What's yours?
2 years.
You know each other. Okay, we'll spend another 10 minutes to know each other. Okay, I believe that nothing is coincidence. My topic will be very similar to Leah's topic. Really? I'm also talking about the traffic jams or something like that. But before we do that one, so the workshops are the one I'm doing right now. Is like I've actually done it many times in Asia based on the classroom observations whenever I go to see English language teachers teaching in their classes. This is very basic, but unfortunately they found it very new to them. Okay, I'm expecting you to be like grade 12, senior high school, okay? Senior high school students. We're going to do guessing skills, skimming skills, and scanning skills. Told you it's not about economics. Alright, but before we do that one, I'm going to give you a reading task. But before that, could you try, together with your groups, before we do this one, can you make a name for your groups? Just a name for your groups. Alright, 10 seconds. 10, 9,
Smart.
Smart seniors. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's the name for your groups?
All seniors.
Very smart.
You just copy paste.
Whoa. Smart. Smart. Fantastic.
Sabia.
Say it again.
Sabia.
Oh, that's a difficult one. Alright, okay. I'll take that one. So when you know the answers, remember you are senior high school students. Teachers love shouting their answers, right? When you know the answers, mention the name of your groups.
Okay.
Don't mention my name, mention the name of your group. Whose name you gonna mention? Just checking. Your group, not me. Alright, can you guess? Can you try to make this reading title correct?
Campaign to.
If you know the answer, mention the name of your group. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smart.
Go.
Ben.
Very close, but not that one.
Smart group.
Smart.
Campaign bans to handheld phones. Hands-free phones. Campaign ban.
Alright, can you make it? Very fantastic. Is it really senior high school students? What's the name of your group?
Smart.
Sorry, the one on the back.
Smart.
Say it again. Sabir, okay? Sorry, can I get your campaign? Could you repeat?
My group name?
No, the answer. I have to go here. Sorry, we're gonna listen to Sabir. Campaign is to ban hands-free phones. Let's have a look. Where's the car? Good answer.
Very smart.
Very smart.
Campaign ban.
This is longer than I thought.
Not yours.
Okay, come on. Campaign.
No.
Up to you.
I think it is
3,
ban
2, 1.
campaign should be deleted.
Campaign to ban car hands on free.
Alright, another one. Fantastic.
Yeah, campaign ban to handphone free car.
What is the ban?
Campaign ban to handphone free car.
If you can guess this one, you will get an iPad.
Campaign to ban
Hands free phone.
free handphone car.
Very smart.
Sorry, smart.
Campaign ban
No.
to car.
Sorry, Very smart.
I know.
This is the very last one. This is
Hands-free. Ban hands-free.
It's along the line of
Phones to car campaign.
I'm only 15 minutes.
Last. That's the one that I want to talk.
I know. See, I've only 5 minutes. Alright. I'll skip why. Yeah, you're gonna say this one, right? What do you think it's gonna be about?
Banning hand-free phones in cars.
Probably. But before that, in your groups, I'll only give you 1 minute. So will you send the representative of your group to come here, to come to the front? I'm gonna give you $50 in this envelope. I'm
I'm a smart group.
Yes. Can we get another one?
Your group.
Alright. Listen. 2 minutes. Rearrange the sentences into a good paragraph.
Yeah, wait.
Remember, you've only 2 minutes.
Kok susah sih? Major road safety campaign is underway in Britain.
I've given you the clue. Number 1 is already given.
How long do we have? 2 days?
On 2 minutes.
2 seconds.
My favorite neighbor. I'll give you another clue. Number 2 is bent. There are 14 cards. Make sure you've got 14 cards. Number 14 is oblivious. Very smart, yeah, the way you do it. No, it's not important. No, impossible. Oh, you've been doing research thesis. You've been reading lots of articles, journals.
No, it's
You are really serious. You always have excuses. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Will you shout number 2? Number 2 started with back. Very good. 1 point for group. Number 3.
Sorry. The group said that the flight
Time 4. No?
What's the third line?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Just below.
No. For calling, very good. Number 4.
Thankful to around?
No. Thankful. Oh yeah, that's right. Thankful. Number 4. Good work. Very smart. You're very good. Very smart. Number 5.
Change now.
Return. Very good. Duo. Very good. Number 6.
New technologies also was
No.
No, I don't know.
You think that one. Number 6. 6.
Technology. New technology.
No. Sorry. Using the phone. Number 6.
Oh.
Number 7.
Connected.
Very good. Number 8.
Returns policy.
Very good. Excellent. Number 8. Returns. Number 9. Change the law. Very good. Number 10.
Green.
Number 11.
Toss ahead.
11?
Next and hand.
No.
New technology.
New technology and 12.
Pass and hand.
Plus and 10 and 13.
Dream on.
Yes, sir. Dream on. And the last one. Alright, so I'll just give you one, yeah? This just, I mean, very good. You must go to the one.
Team preparation.
Bisa, we finished. Oh, Bisa, what's the name of it? Sabir, we finished. Finished. Alright, I'm asking for another 3 minutes, just for another 3 skills and then. Alright, I'm giving you some of the complete version of the text. This is just to show you another skill that you can get. Can you find in the text what does this 160 refers to?
Penalty.
What penalty? Can you
Current
penalty?
penalty.
The current penalty of, can you make it clear?
More specific.
The current penalty, the old one.
Number of words in.
Current.
Yeah, but it's one. Alright, the next one.
Break.
What is break? Charity name. Very good.
Very smart.
Charity.
What charity name? Can you make it more specific?
Road safety.
Alright, charity name. Can you find the synonym of this word? From the text. Unrealized. From the text.
First things first, does anybody know
Very
what
good.
symptom is?
Oblivious.
Very smart. They didn't mention about the name.
Now, is it true or false?
False.
False. What is the right one?
Hello. Itu urusan belakangan.
We guessing, right? We
It's guessing. It's giving skills. You got to read first and then like six. Alright. Well, there are many theories behind these very simple activities that English teachers should run in their classes. So, because usually students complain why reading classes are always boring. We can make it less boring. Although I still complain that reading is boring.
Where's my
Where's your iPad?
Where's $50? $50.
Alright, so this is the last presentation of the first panel session. So if you have any questions, so probably we can only have one question because we need to finish within 5 minutes. So if you have any question to the presenter, please let me know.
Oh yeah, one question.
Sorry, Bapak di belakang.
Yeah,
Yes, Pak. Lazarus. To whom, Pak? You want to ask the question to which?
oh yeah. Because I came late before. I mean, I didn't follow the first presentation, but I just want to know. I'm curious to know because our country is still very rich in the economical base. So something that I would like to know. So just now you try to compare between what they call domestic investor and foreign investor. I don't really get much information, but I think maybe just now you said that maybe the foreign investor is much better, but I think I can conclude like that. So something that I would like to know, what's probably your contribution, I mean, in order to make sure that the domestic investor later on will be benefit for our country because our country we can put our economical development in the foreign investor. We need to. Yeah, this is for our contribution. By asking this question, hopefully that you guide us to get a very good point of view of our economical background. I mean.
Mas Yesi, probably you want to answer? So
Yeah,
about the contribution of research.
I mean, just now you compare. So later on, in order to boost our economical development, how do you think of our domestic investor to do their best? So later on, our economical base will be grow up. You know, the longer the better. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Pak, for the good questions. Thank you. Surprised someone actually follow me. All right. Good. Right. So the conclusion of my study was in the literature, it's always been foreign versus domestic. It's either foreign is a good thing or bad thing. In my research, I showed that there's a symbiotic relationship whereby domestic investors supply liquidity and foreign investors actually demand liquidity. And then by supplying liquidity, domestic investors actually charging a liquidity premium. So that means when foreign investors coming and getting out the market, they pay a liquidity premium to domestic investors. So it is a totally new perspective in understanding how domestic and foreign investors interact. And given that our market do not have any limitations of how much foreign presence can be in the market, so that actually proves that the policy is actually working into domestic investors' favor. I thought that probably takes the first part of your question. In terms of domestic participation in the market, it's actually quite sad knowing that only 2% of population actually invest in the Indonesian stock exchange. The concern, first one, is because it will be much more expensive for the industrial sectors to raise funding. We know that from our experience that reliance on banking is not good. It is proven in 1997 when banking collapsed, most of the business collapsed. And now then we want to see that businesses relies into capital market rather than banking system. The policy so far is actually that the Indonesian Stock Exchange is actually gearing towards that way. So recently they actually reduced the number of minimum shares to be able to transact. In the previous days, we had to buy or sell 500 stocks in one lot. Now they reduce the number into 100, if I'm not mistaken. I need to check that. And then they also reduced the tick size of the trading. That actually tried to facilitate more retail investors to invest in the market. I guess further on we can discuss informally. Thank you.
Do you also see the aspect because most of the foreign investors also
I'm sorry, Bapak, because we are limited with time. So yes, I understand. You can continue your discussion with all of the presenters during the coffee break. And I'll return to our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Adrian. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give applause to the four presenters and also the chair of this session today. And it's time for coffee break. That's a good time for us. So, oh yeah, sorry. So I will invite Dr. Risti to give certificates of appreciations to presenters that have been that have presented their work today.
Babici. Kaya.
First, Asma Subiri from the University of Adelaide. Thank you very much for your participation today. Yesi Baranginani from the University of Adelaide too. Thank you for your excellent presentation. Sharifa Amalia from the University of Adelaide. I have questions about the road traffic, but I'll keep that for the coffee break. And also the last one, Ruth Vidya, thank you for the workshop. And I will take the $50 from you. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, now it's the time for coffee break, and you can enjoy the tea and the coffee there. Oh, tea and coffee break.